Welcome back to another episode of the Tracy Take. Today we are going to be going over Mac Jones Week 1 preseason review. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you have not already, subscribe to our channel so you get notified of new content when it comes out. And Ryan, from the outsider's perspective, not as the Patriot expert, I thought Mac Jones looked really good. I thought he 13 for 19 with 87 yards. I didn't do anything sexy. Should have had a touchdown, but that ball was dropped, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But kind of transitioning over to you as the big-time Patriots fan, what's your overall impressions of Mac Jones' first game?
So, I mean, he did exactly what everybody wanted him to do. He came out and he went through his progressions. He hit the checkdowns when he had to. He, like you said, he did have that drop touchdown pass, which to me, it kind of nerfed his numbers because a lot of the other guys, like for example, Trey Lance and Justin Fields, both had 40-plus yard touchdown pass. Whereas Mac Jones had a 34-yard touchdown pass. It was just dropped. And so for me, I think if you add 14 for 20 for let's say 122 yards and a touchdown, that sounds so much better than 13 for 19 for 87 yards. And so for me, I was very impressed with his ability to stand in the pocket, make the right decision. One of the things that is a little concerning is when he does get off platform, his arm strength is very much lacking. Luckily, the offensive line was able to keep the pocket pretty clean in this game. But, like for example, that pass to the fullback, it was a little short. But overall, I'm going to give this grade a B+. I think there is room for improvement. But Patriots fans have to be pretty excited about Mac Jones coming in and looking pretty good in his preseason debut.
That was, I mean, I would think there's a lot of things to be very happy about. That was one of the things I felt just watching it. And you mentioned it already. The whole kind of Bill Belichick game plan of winning is win in the trenches. And they've always had, it seems like, a good offensive line, a defensive line. And I think that works really well for Mac Jones because it seems a lot of his, throws and those plays, a lot of it was based off timing. It was like 3-step drop back, hit the guy hitting the cut, or the in route. There wasn't too much. Felt like improvising, but that's also Mac Jones' MO. He's not going to break out of the pocket and keep the play going and potentially can go and run for an extra 5-10 yards. Just try and get something out of the play. But all in all, it felt like he would do his checks, and then when no one was open, he was completely content hitting the check down running back and get 5 or 6 yards. And I said this before we started airing it, and when we were watching just the highlights of his performance. And this is going to be a dumb sentence, I know, but it seems like they're just running the ball by throwing it in the air. Like they had a lot of just little 2-3 yard passes that they get 5 yards out of, and then they would just easily move the chain. But then it would open up the deep ball, and where he should have had that touchdown. There was another one. I think it was his last throw or his last drive, but he almost hit Gunner for what could have been a nice 25, 30-yard gain, so to say. And it just seems like that's just how that offense is going to work, and it seems like he fits right in.
Yeah. And no, I think that he fits the system really well. He doesn't have the greatest arm strength, but that 35-yard touchdown pass was dropped in a bucket. And that pass to Gunner doesn't quite have the same top gear that some of these other receivers like Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and even Jacoby Myers has shown in camp that they can go out and make a play and really get after a ball. And I just don't think Gunner is quite as far along, and I think that was part of the reason why that ball was incomplete. But even then, so his first passing play was 2nd and 6, and he completed the pass to Jacoby Myers, but it was ruled incomplete. It doesn't matter. He came right back and looked perfectly in sync with Christian Wilkerson and hit him on that comeback route for, I think it was 2nd and 7. He hit him for 9 yards. So, and that to me is just like textbook, like Patriot football. Like it's 3rd and 5, you get 6 yards. It's 3rd and 14, you get 15 yards. And so I think Mac Jones is the perfect quarterback for this system going forward. With that being said, I want to get your opinion before I state mine about who you think should be the week 1 starter.
So I still think that Cam Newton should be the week 1 starter, and I say this, and this is probably similar to the Justin Fields opinion, but the Patriots, where the organization is at right now, they were close to making the playoffs last year. They fell off a little bit. They added a lot of talent and improved in a lot of areas via free agency to kind of give Cam Newton that opportunity, because even with Cam Newton, with how weak the defense was, or not defense, but just the team was last year in comparison to this team this year, there's a better chance for them to make the playoffs, potentially win the division against the Bills. That's a long shot, but still potentially with new talent. That's why I would lean more towards towards Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, though, I can absolutely 100% see Mac Jones starting, and I do agree. I feel like he fits this offensive scheme better. I think the way that they want to run the offense, the way they want to play football, I feel like he fits that better. But just Cam Newton is going to be the veteran quarterback that's been in the system for a year, who will just kind of just learn from his experience from last year within the team. So that's just kind of my take on it. I think they could go with either one, but I would lean more towards Cam Newton.
So that's kind of my take, is I feel like both of those guys are neck and neck in the quarterback race. But with a guy like Mac Jones, he's not Justin Fields. He's a finesse player. I think he has to have a lot more time in the pocket, especially in the beginning of his career. And he can't, when things break down, he can't necessarily defend himself by getting out of the pocket and running away from guys. He just doesn't have that ability. And so that's why I think Mac Jones will probably end up starting somewhere in the middle of the season. I just don't see, especially as this offense is young and kind of like tries to get into a rhythm, or not young, but new. It's a lot of new players. And while they try to get into a rhythm, I think it's better for Cam Newton to be back there, because Cam Newton has a better playmaking ability with his legs than Mac Jones does. Yeah. And their arms are the same. I just think Cam Newton's legs give him that extra step, no pun intended. But
yeah.
But yeah.
That was very much intended, and you know it. But I agree with what you're saying, and I think where Mac Jones might be a little bit better than Cam Newton just might be just the decision making and just making the right simple throw just to keep the chains moving. And so, not saying that Cam Newton can't do that, but I just feel like throughout Cam Newton's career that hasn't been his strong suit, and so. But he also has had a year in the system. And he's also a 10-year NFL veteran, so it's going to be something to watch throughout the season and throughout the preseason as well, just to see who Belichick ends up deciding to start.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, as a Patriots fan, I love to see Mac Jones come out here and not even make like highlight reel plays, but just make the right decision and just get in a rhythm. So
yeah.
But with all that said, I don't think there's too much else to add. So. That's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. Thank you guys for making it this far. If you have not already, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you disagree with our comments down below, let us know what you think. And we love to hear it. So thank you guys.